One of Us is a dialogue podcast profiling people in and around the Diocese of Wilmington. It also appears in writing in the print edition and online at thedialogue.org. The featured subject could be someone who works behind the scenes at your church or school, volunteers at the parish, or is a regular churchgoer or longtime parish member. Do you want to suggest a person to be profiled? My name is Joseph P. Owens, and I'm editor and general manager here at The Dialogue. Drop an email to me at jowens@thedialogue.org or phone 302-295-0695 if you have a suggestion for an interview subject. Tricia Scott is a parishioner of St. Anne's in Wilmington. She was nominated as a One of Us candidate by me. Why? Because she's a Delaware Catholic and she's president of my high school alma mater, Archbishop John Carroll in Radnor, PA. And Tricia, I don't usually give a long introduction that describes people's background, but I just had to lay it out there for this. I'm a patriot, and that's the mascot here at the Carroll for Archbishop Carroll. And I'll tell you, I already told you what year. I'll leave that part out. So thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So give us a little idea of where did you grow up and how long have you been involved with Catholic education?
Okay, so that's going to be a quick. So I grew up in North Wilmington. I was born, raised. I went to IHM, and then my high school was Archmere Academy.
Oh, nice.
Yes, and then I went to the University of Delaware.
Yeah. Wow.
Did all 3 degrees at the University of Delaware. I'm a big Blue Hen fan.
Yeah.
And then I went right into working in education the moment I graduated from my bachelor's.
Teaching?
Teaching. I was a 2nd and 3rd grade teacher at Forward Elementary for 8 years.
Okay.
8 years. And then we got relocated to Baltimore, short stunt.
Okay, yeah.
And then I came back and worked for Red Clay as an instructional coach.
Okay.
And then from there, I loved helping teachers be better teachers.
Right.
It was one of my favorite things. It's still one of my favorites.
Yeah.
And so when the St. Edmund's Academy principal job came up,
Yep.
a friend asked me to apply.
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah.
And I got the job.
No administrative experience at that point.
No administrative experience, no.
But you'd kind of been leaning in that direction.
Yeah, coaching was a little bit like that, right? So I knew how to evaluate teachers.
Sure.
I knew how to do all of that because Red Clay prepared me quite well on that end.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was able to do that aspect of the job.
Mm-hmm.
It was a little daunting to walk in
Sure.
to a school in which
a boys' school, right?
All boys school.
Right.
Catholic all boys school.
Right.
And so I just had to really think about how best to make St. Edmund's grow as a Catholic institution as well as the best education a boy could receive in the state of Delaware. And that was my goal and that was our mission.
You said coaching. What was that about? You were a coach?
Oh, teacher coach.
Oh, I got you.
I'm
sorry. I thought you had a whistle and running up and down. Okay.
That would be my husband.
Oh, all right. I got you. So tell us about your job and your family.
So
your current job.
My current job. So I am now the president of Archbishop Carroll, which came about because a parent at St. Edmund's Academy I stayed friends with. He was also a colleague in education, and we were friends. And so when I left St. Edmund's after 11 years, which was an amazing 11 years, still one of my favorite memories, is St. Edmund's Academy. And so once I left St. Edmund's, we stayed in touch, and he was on the board at Archbishop Carroll, and he asked me to apply. And
nice.
I said no.
Oh, really?
I said no because it was, I'm a Delaware girl.
Yeah.
So I was like, how am I going to do in Delaware County?
Yeah.
Right? I'm Wilmington, true and
right
true.
Next door.
My dad's a barber in Wilmington.
Yeah.
We're well placed in Wilmington. So I wasn't sure, but he kept at me, and finally I just said yes, and I met amazing people along my journey of interviewing, and I wanted to be at a Catholic institution.
Yeah.
It's where I think I thrive.
Had you been here before?
I had never been here. And I was
But
hired on Zoom.
You knew of it, yeah?
I knew of it.
Yeah.
I knew of it mostly from sports.
Yeah.
I knew it was a good sport.
Girls, very much
sports,
so.
yes.
And not that the boys haven't won their fair share.
No,
over the
they
years,
did
but
in the 70s and 80s, absolutely.
Yeah.
But I knew it as a school, but I really was nervous. And again, I was taking a job. You know, it's a big leap from a principal to a president.
Mm-hmm.
But I felt that the support around me was enough. And I know in a Catholic school, you're going to have the support. And that's why I love it.
Right. So a big part of what we do here, what we talk about here is faith and spirituality. So we would like to ask, what is the most important part of your spirituality? Because you just said you liked the Catholic school atmosphere.
I love the Catholic school atmosphere. I love the community that it brings. I love that we can talk about God in a way that helps young people grow as human beings. And I think it's important for young people to have faith. I think it's amazingly important for young people to understand that they can have conversations with God and believe in something bigger and better than themselves. And I feel that it has to be part of how we approach mental health with young kids, because they don't have the connection. When we grew up, our parents took us to church every day. I knew all the priests at the church, right? They knew
all
who
your friends
we were.
Were there.
All our friends were there. And I feel like today they don't quite have that connection to the church, and so it's now the school's job to make them feel that connection. And so I take that very seriously, and I want kids to have a strong faith before they leave the school, because they're going to need it. There's going to be challenges.
So are you saying we have reason for optimism?
I would love, yes, we absolutely have reason to have optimism, but we have to do things differently than the way we did them 20 years ago. Mm-hmm. And so we have to be open and okay with that. Mm-hmm. Yes.
It's a big part of your job, I'm sure.
It's a big part of the job.
So you have numerous connections with the church. You were telling me you're active with Salesianum and your church. What is it that keeps you going in your connection with the church?
Well, I'm going to be honest. Mostly it's people, right? Mm-hmm. And so I have strong relationships and connections with people at Sally's in the Oblates, as well as the lay administration at Sally's. And I have had that for a long time, and it's important. Sally's was where my son went to high school, and it was an amazing experience for him. My daughter went to Padua, and it was, she thrived at Padua. So I'm a big believer in it as a parent, and I'm a big believer in it as an administrator and as a teacher. And so it's just everyday part of my life. Being Catholic is part of who I am. Mm-hmm. And I'm okay with that.
Yeah, right. Part of who you are. If you could change one thing about your life in the church, your faith, your spirituality, what would it be?
I would like it to get stronger. I think the church, going to church has ebbed and flowed. We, as a human being, right? And so I think that's normal. And I think that's why I can relate to kids today, because I understand that. But I would like for it to be stronger, and I would like for it to be more of the way it used to be. When you would go to church, you would see all your friends and family friends.
Yeah, walk to church. I lived in the city. We walked to church.
I live in the city.
I can't remember the last time I walked to church. Right? I miss it too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I tell this to a lot of people.
Yeah.
It's like I'm like a broken record. I miss walking to church. I do.
Right.
So if a non-church member were to come to you and ask, why should I be a Catholic? What would you tell them? And maybe this has happened to you. I don't.
So Catholic schools have a large population of non-Catholics. Mm-hmm. And it is our job to open opportunity for them to explore being a Catholic. I have had students come in and say, why should I be a Catholic?
Yeah.
And the question is, do you want to strengthen your faith? Do you want to be part of a community
Right.
of people that believe in service and mission, right? And doing things because it's the right thing to do. And so I try to relate it more to who I'm talking to. So oftentimes it's high school students.
Sure.
So I have to relate it to that level. But I talk an awful lot about community and being part of something bigger than yourself. Mm-hmm. And that is why you would want to be Catholic. And I think that that's an important component.
It's a great answer, and it's all about faith. And obviously, faith is a big part of your life, and you've talked a lot about this already, but I'll ask you this way. What does your faith mean to you?
It's such an interesting question to me because it is who I am, right? So I am a Catholic educator who believes in students and children today and believes that it is our mission to make them better human beings than when they walked in the door. And so for me, it's everything. I don't want to continue to be an educator outside of a Catholic atmosphere or environment. I feel as if this is my home and this is where I do my best work.
Amen to that, Tricia, and thank you for inviting me here to Archbishop Carroll.
Me. Yes,
and thanks for joining one of us.
Well, welcome back to the Patriots.
Amen. And thank you for joining us on One of Us, a profile on people who support the church in the Diocese of Wilmington. And don't forget to follow us online at thedialogue.org for your latest in Catholic news and features.